here we preach from A Course in Miracles, and today the talk is, Darling, You Are Divine. And there are many ways that we can remember our own divinity. And one of the ways that we can remember our divinity is by moving more fully into our love. And the other way is to see where that love is being blocked and to see if we can peel away those blocks to love. So it's very simple. So I'm going to take a moment to just bless this time together. Then we'll get into the talk and then the conversation. For anyone that's new here, we have a conversation after the talk. So we'll take a moment to turn within. We just know that God is so good. That God is right now, that we are all divinely connected with this beautiful source of love, of light, of laughter. That this love, laugh, laughter continues to seek to express itself through us. That we are embodiments of this divinity. And I give thanks for all the ways that we shed all of the blocks and all of the ways that we move more fiercely, more fervently, more fearlessly into this immaculate state of brilliance. And for all of this and for all the love and miracles that stem from it, I give thanks. And I release these words into the powerful energy of God's love that says yes to all of this and so much more. So we let it be, and together we say, and so it is. So we're going to start off talking about the ways that we block love. And way back in the day, all of us probably heard about the 7 deadly sins, you know? And it was like, oh my God. Like, they weren't just sins, they were like deadly sins, you know? And as you heard them get ticked off, they're like, guilty, 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 guilty. Like pride, and envy, and then gluttony, and then lust. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how does God know all of my favorite things? And when we look at it through the eyes of A Course in Miracles or through the eyes of love, we get to see, you know, that all of them are just 7 flavors of fear. Fierce flavors of fear, but 7 really powerful flavors of fear. The number 1, you know, is pride. And that just is the fear that says, I am not enough. And so I have to pretend that I'm better than you. And then its cousin or sister is envy, which is the same thing. Like, I am not enough. And so I have to place all of my fears on my projection of you being so much better than me. So pride says I'm better than you, envy says you're better than me. And it's this great way that we can avoid being balanced. And then we have the not enough other cousins that come with it. You know, there's not enough food, so gluttony. There's not enough sex, so lust. You know, there's not enough money, so greed. And then we have the 2 ways that we deal with all of that not enoughness, and it's either one way or the other way. Anger or sloth. So I can get really angry about this, or I can just fall asleep. And so the ego keeps us swimming in this, you know, beautiful script of fear, where we continue to chase and avoid and chase and avoid and chase and avoid. But if we begin to look at those blocks and see which ones are our favorites, we get to go to them and say, wow, this is the place where I get stuck and blocked. Look, this kid. I know, he's so perfect. So that's the blocks to love. And all of us, again, like all of us have a favorite place to hide beneath some of those things. And every single one of them bring this magnificent kryptonite called guilt. And kryptonite, the kryptonite of guilt just brings us down to no power. And so it's a beautiful scenario of the ego. It really, really works. But today, we also have the gift of God's grace, that God loves us, and that, you know, that Jesus says to us, there's a light within you. The way to attain atonement, which means one-ment with all that is, you just simply need to release that inner light. And that inner light is spoken to in so many philosophies and theologies. So all of those blocks are they're focusing on the blocks and not focusing on the inner light. And there's a line in the Gospel of Truth that says, this is the perfect day. This is the perfect day. And within me dwells a light that cannot fail. So I remember hearing that and I was like, what? Like that felt like it came with no kryptonite of guilt. It felt like it came with a big fat permission slip of, oh, there's a light within me that cannot fail. How do I ignite that light? How do I get to turn that on? And that's the experience of Namaste. You know, there's this beautiful series that Oprah and Deepak Chopra are doing, you know, the meditations that they give out for free. And today, Deepak was talking about how, you know, the Namaste basically means, Namaste, I recognize my true essence in every soul that I meet. I used to think it meant like the God in me recognizes the God in you. But in his interpretation, it was that I recognize my true essence in every soul that I meet. So I'm literally meeting myself in every single person that I come in contact with. You're meeting yourself in every single person you come in contact with. And we'll know how we treat them is how we treat ourselves. And if we decide to put one of those blocks between us of envy, of pride, of guilt, of shame, that we are just projecting that onto our brother, and that it's blocking us from seeing and being our divinity. So the good news is that in chapter 2, Jesus in the Course of Miracles talks about separation and the atonement. And he actually gives us this beautiful key characteristics of a miracle worker. So we're going to go into the key characteristics of what a miracle worker looks like and what are some of the philosophies of a miracle worker so that we can move past these blocks. So we activate this power by doing the one thing that invalidates fear. And the one thing that invalidates fear, start off with, is letting go. Letting go. Like letting go, and then when you let go some more. And when you let go of that, let go some more. Let go until you're completely unencumbered. Until you can come wholly and unencumbered and untethered to your divine. That's how you'll really get into the recognition of your divinity, is by letting everything else go. Because fear is very sticky. It clings, it controls, and it condemns. Bless you. Bless you. And so that's what it's going to feel like when we're in ego. We're going to try, we're going to be, we're going to curse, we're going to condemn, we're going to get sticky with each other. Whereas when we're in spirit, we're going to feel expansive. We're going to feel gracious and generous. We're going to have the experience of what the Spirit does is relinquish, release, and remember. And remember is a really powerful word when it comes to our spiritual practice. To remember who we are, to remember why we're here, to remember who our brother actually is. Love swings for the bleachers as fear cowers in the dugout. Love is attractive and admirable and audacious, and it stems from that letting go of control, of grievances, and of letting go of everything. This release affords us to experience that graciousness. So these 7 key steps of becoming more miracle-minded, they come with this invitation that when you become more miracle-minded, that you have so much more freedom and happiness and love and joy, and it's more fun. I was sitting here with Will, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have no childcare, and we're starting late, and I listed something else, and he's like, yeah, you could see it that way. And I was like, all right, what am I preaching about today? And I was like, oh yeah, right, like the first 3 characteristics of being miracle-minded are, and we'll go through them, are, I am exactly who I need to be. This is exactly what it needs to be, and all there is love. And as soon as I remembered that, I was like, oh my God, and I got to hear you guys sing. And I had this moment where I was listening to you guys sing, and then I remembered that, and your singing, for some reason, like exponentially expanded into like even more grandiose harmony in my heart and soul. Like I was missing that while I was thinking about we have no child, and then we started laying on. Like I was missing this. That's the miracles, when we wake up to the magnificence that is here. And then it's like, oh, I almost missed this. So the first one is the special powers of miracle workers. The miracle abolishes the need for lower order concerns. So having no childcare, not being on time, that would be a lower order concern, I think. But it says it abolishes the need for these lower order concerns since it's out of patterns of time intervals. The ordinary consideration of time and space does not apply. When you perform a miracle, I will arrange both time and space for you. So that's what Jesus is saying. He's saying, basically, when you come up against a request for love, when you come up against a call for love, and you start thinking, oh, this is going to be hard, something's gone wrong, I don't have enough time or space or resources here, that all of that is a distracting script of the ego. And that the truth is that love wants you to remember that you have more than enough of everything. And as you give this love, it will be repaid to you mighty benefits will come to you. So the first requisite for a miracle worker is to remember, I have everything that I need. You want to repeat that with me? I have everything that I need. Get that tattooed on your eyeballs. The next one is a clear distinction between what is created and what is made is essential. So to know the difference between what is created and what is made. All forms of healing rest on the foundational correction on level perception. So this is basically a reminder that when we're looking for our good, we usually have the tendency to go out there and run around the block with our hair on fire, seeking elixirs and experts to give us the answer to the questions of our soul. It reminds us again and again that you have everything that you need, and that this one tells us actually, like the Good Witch told Dorothy, like it's within you. Not only do you have everything that you need, but it's within you. It's not out here. It's from within you that you claim your good. And to remember that love is not special, that it shines like this from each and every single one of us. As we get out of our own way, we prevent lack and limitation in our own lives. So you are all that you need to be. So let's repeat that one together. I am all that I need to be. Another one to tattoo on your eyeballs, don't you think? I have all that I need. I am all that I need to be. Like, that's what Christ consciousness wants to remind you. That it wants to remind you that you have everything, that there's no problems. If you work with those first two concepts of a miracle-mindedness, you will begin to see your life become unwrinkled and unriddled. And you will come to everything knowing, I don't know what it is, but I apparently have everything I need, and apparently I am everything that I need to be, so this is going to work out on my behalf and on behalf of everyone I come in contact with. Like, that's the good news. So, number 3 is never confuse right-minded and wrong-mindedness. Responding to any form of error with anything except the desire to heal is an expression of this confusion. So it's basically saying when we come in contact with these invitations and these experiences, our egoic mind is going to want to say, like, I got to fix that, change that, add to it. I got to rush in and put a dog in this fight, and I got to give you my opinion. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, none of that is necessary. You know, the only thing that needs to be changed about anything would be to change my mind about the experience. So if I'm seeing that something's lacking or needing to be fixed or changed or rearranged, it's because I'm seeing it incorrectly. So all I have to begin to move forward with is, this is perfect. Where does the healing happen? It happens in my mind. And if you come to me with a request for healing, I'm not healing you. If you're a healer here and you think you're healing someone else, you're not healing someone else. You're healing the thought in your mind that outpictured this request for a healing. So all you need to do is change your mind, and only your own thoughts can harm you. That's a really revolutionary thought to remember. Only your own thoughts can harm you. So all of the pain, all of the tragedy that I've been experiencing in my life has been authored by me. Let me drop that pen and return the author of my life to God, who is only interested in my good. That would be a really wonderful thing to practice letting go of. So we see people, places, and things outside of us that are sick, but sickness is just this real addiction to specialness, you know, and that this sickness doesn't necessarily just show up in our bodies. It shows up in our bank accounts. It shows up in our relationships, and where we can say, like, I'm not included. Like, I have some exception in me. There's some glitch in me. And, you know, the Holy Spirit is saying, like, you need to drop that. That is a wall that you've built of specialness, so that you could harbor yourself in this very small space of stagnation, and it's not working. It's just not working. I mean, you're here to shine. You're here to be limitless. I know that sounds like a song of the ego when you say, like, I'm all that in a bag of chips and I have no problems, but walking around with, you know, singing songs of sickness is really songs of the ego. You know, instead of saying I'm limitless. The secret sickness makes you feel both disempowered and special. What a weird thing. You're both disempowered and special. I'm special in my lack of power. Whereas if I decide to move into my empowerment, then in true empowerment, I see everything as equally empowered as myself. But that's a radical shift of miracle consciousness. So that the next one for 3 is there's only love. I relinquish my curiosity in good and evil, and I move into acceptance of only good. There's only God. There's only good. You know, God is good. And when we say, I'm one with God, and so many philosophies and theologies say, you're one with God, you're an extension of God. But that's lovely words on the page, but what does it mean in your shoes? Are you walking knowing that you are divinity? Are you walking knowing that you are the divine light of God, moving in this world, recognizing other divine lights of God? And if not, let's start eroding those blocks and those broken agreements so that we can experience joy. You know, when love is in your body and unhinged, it cannot be anything but forward moving. Love cannot be contained in the body. So when you see somebody in love, if you've ever been in love and you're like, like it wears you, and you're like, what's up with you? And you're like, I'm in love. And you have that experience, like all you can think about is this love, and it literally comes out of your pores, and everybody's like, what drug are you on? I'm in love. That's what love looks like. But that's what it should look like all of the time. We have the privilege and invitation to live in that kind of love. So there is only love. Number 4, miracle is always a denial of the error and an affirmation of the truth. Only right-mindedness can correct in a way that has any real effect. Pragmatically, what has no real effect has no real existence. Its effect then is emptiness. Being without substance, content, it leads to self-projection. So it's basically saying, like, if I heal this illusion for myself, the wonderful thing that happens is that I heal it for everyone. If I can heal this for myself, I can heal it for everyone. That's great authority right there. Only love creates, and I'm waking up to the vitality of God's unconditional love in me. The unconditional and unconflicted state of love is my state of being. So again, like, this is optimal idea. We want to move into the optimal idea. When I'm talking about the optimal idea, you might be thinking, I don't live there. I got a whole different address that's spelled H-E-L-L most of the time. And so you might be thinking, like, how do I get there? So this is, we can look at those blocks, as I said, or we can look at, like, to take on one of these concepts of a good miracle worker and decide to just work with one at a time. Work with, I am all that I need to be. Work with, I have more than I could ever need or want. Work with, there is only love. The next one is number 5. The level adjustment power of miracle mindedness induces the right perception of healing. Unless this has occurred, healing cannot be understood. Forgiveness is an empty gesture until it entails correction. Without it is essentially a judgment rather than a healing. So it's basically saying that when I give you forgiveness that's not based in love, it's going to look like, I forgive you, but you're wrong, and you know it, and everyone else knows it. You're wrong, and you did that horrible thing, and I'm going to keep telling everyone about the horrible thing, but I'm a really special and holy person, so I forgive you. But we know you're wrong. So that's still living in the fractured state, and that's not true healing. True healing and forgiveness looks like, that was no big thing. You made a mistake, and I called that mistake into being myself. I must have had a script within my own consciousness that called you forward as my teacher. Thank you so much for helping me to look at this illusion that I have projected on you. And thank you so much because not only were you the last teacher to teach me this, but I'm graduating. So we no longer have any business together. But thank you, and I will only speak of you in love. You brought me to this place of higher awareness. That's what true forgiveness looks like. Thanks for letting me play with you, Maureen. And basically, it hinges on the idea that I am that I am. Like, I am that. If I see a broken illusion, a fractured state, if I see war and deprecation and drug addiction, I am that. If I see holiness, if I see abundance, if I see joy, I am that. You know, I am constantly projecting my illusions out into the world, and I get to work with them until I let all of it go. I let all of the horrible definitions of you and me go. I let all of the most beautiful definitions of you and me go, because the horrible definitions of you and me is a block to God's definitions, and the best definitions that I could come up with for you and me are breadcrumbs compared to the banquet that God has for us. So that's why we have to let go, and then let go, and then let go again. Like, we really need nothing but our breath to be in our divinity. Are we there? Are we still shuffling scripts for God to, bring to us? Are we still giving, pledges and, problems to God? Are we people of problems or people of power? That's the question we've got to ask ourselves today. Because today, I'm a woman of power. I got no problems. Except for we don't have any childcare and also we started late. so So we dip in and we vacillate. We dip in and we move back. And we dip in and we move back. But that's the good news. We're waking up together. The statement is simply saying, God, it's saying, God, please wake us up. We're sleeping in a dream of separation, the scarcity. We're sleeping in a dream of problems. Forgive us for falling asleep in the midst of your brilliance. We thought your brilliance was too much, and so we closed our eyes and we projected our fear onto the blank screen. But we don't want to waste any more time in these idle states of illusion. We will not fear your revelations where you reveal for us the truth, where you help pull back the curtain of the illusion of separation, and where you remind us that we are one. That's what we're looking for. So the final two invitations of the miracle worker that Jesus gives us, I think, are really interesting. One of them is the injunction of be of one mind, and is a statement of revelation readiness. And it says, my request has been and is, do this in remembrance of me. And this is appeal for cooperation. Like, remember, 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 remember. You could imagine, like, your higher power standing by your bedside and whispering, like, wake up, my beloved. Like, wake up to your audaciousness. Remember who we are together. You know, I need you to wake up so that I can move through you and do audacious things through you. These two statements of be of one mind and do this in remembrance of me, it says two statements are not in the same order of reality. Only the latter, do this in remembrance of me, involves awareness of time, since to remember is to recall the past and the present. But time is under my direction, and timelessness belongs to God. In time, we exist together. So as we wake up, we're going to be existing together. And for a moment, I'm going to think you're separate from me until I wake up and go, hi, me. I want everything good for you as I want everything good for me. You know, hi, me. You know, oh, I'm so excited about congratulations on all your audaciousness, because congratulations means with gratitude, I liberate you to be your most audacious self so I can be free. You know, so congratulations to all of us. That's why we start with celebration, because it's a way of saying, like, look at how limitless we can be. In time, we exist with each other, but as we move into timelessness, we coexist with God. That's really where we want to go, right? It says, love each other in the memory that we are each other. Have you ever had the experience of real revelation where you recognize this other person was just you? Yeah, isn't that beautiful? I had that with Will not too long ago. I'm like, I married me. I should be nicer to me. I was like, thank you for showing me that, God. So we are each other's angels or anchors. And as we become each other's angels, we ignite that angelic support for us. And as we become each other's anchors, we weigh ourselves down with the illusion, because it's done unto us as we believe. We can have our liberation, or we can have our limitations. You don't want your limitations. And the way that you erode your limitations is by making sure your brother's free. Free of all your condemnation. Free of all your crucifixions. He didn't ask for it. He doesn't want it. It's not serving anyone, and it's limiting you. The final one is 8. 8, we know this one from 8 because Elizabeth posted it on a bookmark. It's a beautiful piece from A Course in Miracles. And basically it says you can do so much on your own healing, on behalf of your own healing, and that of others in these situations if you call on help. And it says, think of it this way, and we've all read this. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent He who sent me, or love who sent me. I don't have to worry about what to do or what to say, because love who sent me will direct me. And I'm content to be whatever love wishes me to be, because He goes with me, and I will be healed as He teaches me to heal. It says, you know, it basically is saying when you meet anyone, and this is another portion of the Course in Miracles, when you meet anyone, remember, it's a holy encounter. See yourself as you treat him, you'll treat yourself. As you think of him, you'll think of yourself. Never forget this, for in him you will find yourself or lose yourself. Whenever two sons of God meet, they're giving each other another chance for salvation, for peace. So don't leave anyone without giving him love and peace. And as you acquire a deeper and deeper and deeper state of peace and acceptance and joy, then move through the world like a hot knife through butter, and move through the world in peace to love and serve the Lord. And I know that sounds like woo-woo and kind of Christian, you might have gotten, oh, love and serve the Lord. But the Lord is the embodiment of all that we are. And that's the word.